Conan, what is best in life?
To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
That is
Come, son of Jarrell! Kneel before Zod! Snitchy boochies.
Hey, welcome in, true believers, to another episode of Comic Conversations where I interview another YouTuber. Today's a close friend of mine. I met him on Whatnot. He is an agent of chaos, you could say. He has an alter ego too. He has his alter ego puppet. It's kind of interesting. And he is from north of the wall, and he is one of our great protectors. He protects us from the White Walkers. So, without any further ado, my good friend Flat Earth Santa, or as I call him, Glenn.
Hey everybody, how are you, Matt?
How you doing? How's the puppet today?
He's waiting for his specific questions. He's making sure he's not going to get gotcha'd.
All right. Well, I promise I'll be nice to him.
You better be nice, cause I'm Santa. You won't get any jello in your stocking if you don't.
I don't eat Jello, but okay. Anyway, I think Jello was terrible. Unfortunately, I don't really care for it too much. So, well, all right, I'm glad you're here. Okay, I've got some. We got Archie Lee was here. Hey, Archie. There's W. Boggs in the chat. Just talking to him a minute ago. Hope you're doing well. Haven't seen you in about 5 minutes, but all right. All right, let's get into it, I guess. Where do we start? Okay, let's start like this. What was your origin story? How did you get into collecting? And I know a lot of people didn't, fall in and fall out of it. So but what was initially like your attraction to like comic books?
I went on a school trip, got bit by a radioactive spider.
All right.
When I was a kid, my parents got me. They got me Dell comics, like Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and Richie Rich, and stuff like that. So I read that initially, and then I walked in one day into Gold's Variety in Niagara Falls, and I saw Transformers #1 on the spinner rack, the Bill Sienkiewicz cover, and I was absolutely in love with it. I'm like, this thing, I want to know what this is. I mean, I had already seen the stuff with the toys and whatever, but I needed to see more. I was like, yeah, this is too cool. Saw it, picked it up, and that was the very first comic. Actually, I probably should have brought it out to show. I've still got it. I bought it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm hooked from here on out. So
Awesome. And I don't know, it's like, you get attracted to like that. Like I remember like that happened to me, like seeing like a G.I. Joe comic or something, or Spider-Man, I was like, oh, I got to get that. Mom, get me that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I grabbed or I collected G.I. Joe. Like that's when I actually started collecting, was actually with Transformers and G.I. Joe, and I was actually literally collecting. Where bagging and boarding them as a kid, and these were the treasures. These were the things that that you valued.
Yeah, and I can't find my list, but I usually pretty good at remembering my questions. But
that's okay. Well, as I said, that's the origin story of when I was a kid. Now there's 3 different stages to the origin story. So I don't know if you had other questions as follow-up. So
did you ever get just drop off from collecting and then decide like, well, you know what, I think I'll pick that back up again? Or what was like, mine was, I discovered girls and driving a car.
Yeah, me too.
It kind of got me out of it for a while because, when we're around the same age. When we were growing up, you kind of didn't tell people that you collected comics,
No.
because it was like, oh, you're a geek, man. But nowadays we have like geek culture coming back, and but I mean, I didn't really hide it, but it's just like, okay, that's not cool anymore. Girls don't like that kind of thing. So
Yeah, well, that's exactly what it was. High school, beginning of high school, you're like, okay, girls are more important, cars are more important, sports are more important. Uh, so I kind of fell out, and then I got back into it. I want to say in about just in college, the Death of Superman.
mhm.
Uh, but I actually liked the series a little bit at the time. But all that kind of brought me back in, and I kind of stayed there till 2007 when I sold out my company to Diamond Distributing.
Oh yeah.
Because we used to have a site called The Comics Review, and we also had a division that did software for point of sale systems for LCSs that worked with Diamond Distributing stuff, and it worked out well. They at the retailer summit the one year, I think it was in 2007. They came up and they gave me an offer to buy us out, and then I got out of comics for 20 something years, and late 2023 I found two short boxes and a long box in my closet that I hadn't seen for 20 something years.
Wow.
And inside was like ASM 300 and a bunch of other stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I'll pick this up and see. And I've been loving it since. So.
Well, it's like one of those things. It's like people will like fall off for a while, and then some will just be like, you know what? I miss this. It's like a love-hate relationship too, because sometimes even now I get frustrated, like, oh, I can't keep up with all this stuff, and there's so much crap out there now, and then you had the COVID prices just were like outrageous. And but I guess but that's actually it helped me get in a lot more to it, because of like, again, even though it was expensive, it's like we were sitting at home, nothing to do, and I was like, well, I guess I might as well start. Then I got that collection from my uncle. But yeah, what are some of the things you love? This is a two-part question. What do you love about comics, collecting comics, reading comics, and is there anything you hate about it?
Love collecting comics. The hunt is absolutely my favorite part of collecting comics. Going out and trying to find that issue that you need, that's scarce and whatever. And like, I mean, it's a whole lot easier when you've got eBay, but I tend to try not to use eBay, because I mean, that's a little too easy. I actually enjoy the hunt, going and bin diving at cons.
Yeah.
It gets fun finding, as I said on a lot of my my videos, I like finding diamonds in the rough, right? That's the fun part of it. The thing I hate, but I mean, I've hated this probably for 20 something years, and that's the variant covers. I'm not a big, too many variant covers. I think it's terrible. I think I wish we'd go back to single covers.
I think it also kind of diminishes, like when you have an artist that's doing all the cover A's, I think it diminishes his work.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like saying, you know what, you're a good artist, Nick Klein, but you know what, I want to get like a bunch of like big names, because we don't know who you are. People might not, or something like that. Like they're kind of like, it's like they don't trust them enough. Not Nick Klein maybe, but like you see some of these artists, like you'll see the variants, and the variants are better than the cover, or people want to get it, and another one. And then the other problem is, like with Wolverine issue 36 from the last volume before they restarted it again. First appearance of Wolverine.
Mhm.
Cover A is worth what, $60, $70.
Mhm.
But if you get the variant of George Perez or one of the other variants, I can get it for $15.
Yep.
And and then you can't keep. I don't know. It just bothers me. But I don't know.
Incentives too, right? Like, I mean, it makes it hard for a LCS to say, okay, well, a 1 in 50 variant or a 1 in 100 variant. Everyone wants those, but the problem is you only get to sell it once because, or whatever. How many you have to buy so many, and what happens? They end up in your dollar bins in another month. Like, it's
Absolutely.
all your cover A's. It's
And also, there's no motivation for them to buy 50 copies or 100 copies of a comic that they only might sell 20 or 30 copies of.
yes, and and they won't get the $100 for the 100 copies that because remember, they have to buy, what is it? It's 50. I think it's still 50%.
Yeah.
They have to buy of cover price. Like, it's they need to make $50 on a 1 in 100. Like, that's like stupid. Actually, my math's wrong, but it doesn't matter. It's still
we get the gist of it.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Okay. What were some of your favorite comic series growing up?
Oh, well, as I said, before I bought my own, it was like Richie Rich and stuff from Dell and the full color stuff. But once I was able to buy my own Transformers, G.I. Joe, I went, to issue 50 on both. Dark Knight Returns, when that first came out, I was hooked like no tomorrow. Batman, some of the JLA, but absolutely Alpha Flight was huge, and I would say X Factor before X-Men, just because I read it beforehand. But yeah, those are the titles that were like kind of the main focuses.
Yeah.
And then the 90s was like Superman and Batman and
kind of standard like me. I was like, I was buying all like into like Nightfall, the death of Superman, Superman Doomsday, all that stuff, the Funeral for a Friend, that whole, and I went down that rabbit hole looking at that. But I let's see here. Yeah, I kind of had the same thing. Like, I liked when I was younger, I even liked Power Pack.
Yep.
Because it was kind of oriented towards children anyway. And then Alpha Flight was always like them because it's like we had two X-Men. We had the X-Men based in New York and America, and then you had the Canadian X-Men basically. Mm-hmm. And I always liked it, like when Wolverine would like show up or something, or I thought it was kind of cool. All right. This kind of goes into the YouTube thing. What made you finally decide that you were going to do a YouTube channel? And you're like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I've been putting it off. That's what I did. I was just like, you know what? I was on Whatnot. As you know, that's where we met.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, well, I can do this. I'm kind of comfortable with not kind of being on camera, even though I'm not on camera most of the time. You're showing the book. And I said, I just said, you know what? It's time to do it. I got all the excuses. Like, I don't have the editing software. I don't have the right computer. So I just pulled the Band-Aid off and did it. Well, what inspired you to do it?
Well, everybody kind of just kept bugging me and saying, like you and Kevin and Will and everybody, just do it, man. Come on. It was fun. I really, that and the fact of once I got a marketing gimmick with the puppet.
Yeah.
Once that came in, I'm like, okay, well, this is gonna go better than I thought. So
let's say how did the puppet? Well, I guess while we're at it, we might as well let the puppet say something. I guess you're always working round year round, right, Santa, to get kids the Jello in their stockings. So what are the new things the elves are working on right now?
The elves, they don't do nothing, man. They troll my ass all the time. I tell them, make me AF-15s, and they give me Ninja Funk number ones. They troll my ass all the time. It's getting annoying.
That's crazy. Like, do you think they're being influenced by Whatnot or something? Like,
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, they're on Whatnot buying stuff, saying, "Hey, we're not making stuff no more. We're just gonna buy this crap from China."
I was disappointed in them because they keep sending me X-Force ones in a poly bag with a Shatterstar card instead of the Deadpool card. So it's kind of a bummer.
There's no more Deadpool cards. All the people in the 2000s bought them, they slabbed them, and no more.
That's not true. I got 3 of them.
Lies. Fake news. Don't listen to them, man. I'm telling you. The earth is flat, and there's no more Deadpool.
Is there any truth to the rumor that you're going to replace Trudeau as the Prime Minister of Canada?
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'd get rid of all the stupid people up here and make it where everyone has to have maple syrup and beer for every single food item.
Now, Glenn told me, though, that you met Comic Tom and you kind of creeped him out at MegaCon.
Yeah, Comic Tom is really, well, I don't know. He tried to make me brag. He tried to tell me that I was sweating underneath all this, on my clothes, my Santa Claus, and I wasn't. I don't sweat. So I made him brag by making fun of him, and then he had to go away because I'm better than him.
Yeah. That was the interview. I mean, I like some of the footage we saw from down there when you were in Orlando, and I don't know. Keep up the good work, Santa. I don't know if you got any more flavors of Jello you're going to give kids in their stockings this year or not. But
I'm cucumber Jello. It's the best stuff there is. Anyways, I gotta go do some stuff. Bye, everybody.
All right. Don't get in any trouble. Don't go to any strip clubs again, okay? Last time I had to bail you out, okay? So no more calls from jail.
Is that who bailed him out? Jeez, because he won't. Because I won't take his calls anymore.
He still owes me some money. That's okay.
Yeah, I don't take his calls anymore.
I didn't want the children to be disappointed when they didn't, get their presents, even if it is a Ninja Puck number 1. Oh, we have a question for Santa though.
Yeah, I see. Thoughts on other holiday mascots? Don't care. It's me and Charles Barkley. That's it. Because he's terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, I heard once him and Bill Laimbeer got in a fight, but I don't know. We'll see. Let's stay out of those bar fights though, okay, Santa? Okay, what have you enjoyed about doing YouTube?
Meeting some cool people. I mean, that's the community is the one of the best parts of it.
Yeah, and you know what? It's kind of like a beneficial relationship for everybody though, because like even with you and me, I'd be like, hey, I've been looking for that Godzilla number 1.
Yeah,
I got a copy, or people can I've been trying to get into restoring these old toys, and I got a lot of good, valuable information from people, and you get to network also, and you get to meet people that are like-minded.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love it. It's the community's fun. You get it gets you out there and doing something in your spare time, especially in the winter up here where it's cold and sometimes when it's cold but there's not enough freezing to get out on the ice for ice fishing. So
yeah. Or just like there's so much snow you don't feel like getting out and dealing with it. You just
yeah, that too.
With me it's especially here in the winter it's been good, but it's actually been, I know this is gonna be weird, but it's kind of good for my mental health because I don't get out much. So get to talk to people besides I talk to mom all day, so that's not good. Yeah, everybody's like, oh no, here we got another middle-aged guy that collects comics that lives with his mom. But when you're disabled, it's kind of the way it goes. Okay, we got. Could you tell me more about like the okay, you sold that software to Diamond, right? You had and your website, and I know you interviewed a lot of artists. You got any memorable moments or like anything highlights that you can remember that stand out to you?
Oh, absolutely. We interviewed Neil Adams twice, and
Oh, cool.
I have to say he's one of the coolest people I've ever met in the comic industry.
I bet he has some amazing stories.
He does. But it's funny because he could be completely talking, or well, he can't anymore, obviously.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. But he would be able to be talking to you in one sentence, flip a switch, and he'd go in on his expanding world theory. Like it's astounding how quickly he can switch. It was like he could be talking in one sentence and suddenly, oh, by the way, and then go into this. And it was like, okay, thank you, Neil. You're awesome.
He's a pretty smart guy too. I mean, he was very well-educated guy.
Oh, he was, yeah.
And I thought a lot of great things he did was like, he contributed a lot back to like with Joel Shuster and those guys when they were screwed over by Warner Brothers.
Yep.
And helped them. He's like, look, we got this movie coming out, and you guys need to do right by them. And they finally did. It only took them 30 years, but they, or longer. But anyway, but yeah. But you also told me a story about. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna continue on.
I'm sorry. I just made it I'm sorry. I'm interviewing myself now.
I got to meet. I'm guessing you're waiting on the David Lloyd story, but
oh yeah, you got to hear the David Lloyd story later.
The second one that was probably the best. That is maybe one of the coolest guys I ever got to meet was Norm Brayfogle, and I'm a big Batman fan, and I loved his work on Detective and in Batman. I got to meet him a little bit later after he left DC. He was working with a buddy of mine at Speakeasy Comics. My buddy was Chuck Satterley. He and Norm did a book called Of Bitter Souls together. And it was really cool artwork. And I got to meet Norm and got to know Norm pretty well, and still stay in contact every once in a while with his wife. So like that was some of the cool stuff. Got to meet. I guess I'll transition into the David Lloyd story. We were at Heroes Con, and we got met by the people that started MegaCon, the company. So they invited us down. Me and my buddy Brian went down to MegaCon. David Lloyd was signing. We after the very first day, we're sitting by poolside, and we've got a Texas Mickey of Jack Daniels and like about 3 2-liter bottles of Coke. And then more people just decided to start joining us. And David's like, he comes up and he's like, hey, I'd like to sit down and, join you guys. And after, a few hours, everyone had gone back to their rooms, but me, Brian, and David are still just talking, and we're all drunk by that time. And David's telling me stories about Alan Moore and all the stuff that he did on V for Vendetta with Alan. And then we were like, okay, David, we're going to bed. We got to get up in the morning. Probably like 3, maybe about 2 o'clock in the morning it was. Anyways, the next morning we get up. We come into the con. The couple that started it come up and be, what did you do? Like, what do you mean? It's like, David came to our hotel room at like 3 a.m, banging on the door because he couldn't remember where his hotel room was, but he somehow remembered where ours was. So and he got, I guess David got so drunk couldn't remember. He also was about an hour late for his signing.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, so it was, so they're like, if you do this again, you will have a lifetime ban at MegaCon.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so
Well,
we had some fun times.
Yeah, you never know what'll happen at a con. People act like it's just a bunch of geeky nerds that don't really party, but like there's been some, some fun stuff goes on at these cons.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I'm looking forward to going to Heroes. I know you're going to be there.
Yep.
And, do you kind of miss doing that stuff though, the website?
Yes and no. I mean, I loved doing it, and I loved getting everybody together and organizing it. Because we had at the end, we had probably I'd have to check the site, but I think we had like 10 employees at the time. So it was going pretty well. And it was we only really covered indies mostly, but we had people that were doing we got the diamond stuff, some of it a week early, before the shops got it.
Oh, cool.
So we were able to get our guys to review it ahead of time. So it was fun. I mean, that was fun. We got what was that big one? Countdown to Infinite Crisis. Yeah. So the we got the Countdown to Infinite Crisis a week and a half before the shops got it. So we got to read it and do stuff with that. So it was cool.
Did you ever get to interview George Perez?
I don't know if I did. I didn't, but maybe one of my guys did. And again, I'm sorry if he did. Like, there was so many guys that I forgot. Like, I know I showed to you that I was on the site on Wayback Machine. Like we did Larry Hama. I don't remember doing Larry Hama, but I didn't do it. But as I said, one of our guys did it. We had an interview. One of the guys always set up the interviews, while me and Brian were kind of more the oversighting the whole thing, right? Making sure that all the finances were in place and blah, blah, blah.
Well, and and anybody knows me, as you do, knows I love Larry Hama.
Yep.
I'm I'm kind of a G.I. Joe nerd. I guess that's probably, you know what? I used to be like, well, I think it's my favorite comic is Cap and all that, but I think pretty much it's G.I. Joe's like over everything. But that's for me, not you. I shouldn't be talking about that.
Well,
one of these days, I'm going to do a video where I interview myself. That's going to be fun.
You can still find some of the interviews on the Wayback Machine. If you go to the Wayback Machine to thecomicsreview.com from middle of 2007 and back is when we sold out. So all the stuff, it was in the forums, and you can see a lot of the interviews are still there in the Wayback Machine, the archive or the Internet Archive. So
awesome. And so everybody, if I knew how to switch, my computer just totally flipping out on me, we would drop the link. But anyway, let me see. I got to find my power cord. I'm about to go. I got to plug my computer in. It's about to die.
Willie GT says, "I'm gonna eat you." Okay, well, that's awesome. Let me know how I taste.
Well, okay. I guess that's okay.
Sure.
Well, let's see here.
Well, no shit. What have we got here? A fucking comedian, private joker. I admire your honesty. Hell, I like you. You can come over to my house and fuck my sister.
Sure.
Like, no. Okay. All right. Well,
Okay. All right. Next question.
next question. What are some of your favorite artists and writers?
Favorite writers? Wow. Wow, that's tough. I like Alan. Like I'd have to say Alan Moore just because Swamp Thing is in my top 10. His run on Swamp Thing was absolutely awesome. I loved V for Vendetta again. But a lot of the stuff Alan Moore did, and The Watchmen. I love The Watchmen. So that would be my favorite writer. Artist. If it was Batman, I'd go Neil Adams and Norm Brayfogle. Spider-Man has to be Ditko. I know you're a Todd guy, but I'll take Ditko over McFarlane any day.
John Romita Jr.
Yeah, John Romita Sr. was really after Ditko left, he was really good. There's too many to list. I mean, I like Dave Stevens. I mean, I know there was the big craze, but I like the good girl art stuff. Probably
I liked the rock before we got all hot. I still like that stuff.
Yeah. I'm a big Turner fan. Michael Turner, love his.
Oh, I know. You got some good Michael Turner comics. I know that.
Yeah, I love Michael Turner. He's my favorite good girl artist. Him and Adam Hughes, at least now. But yeah, that's what I would say. So.
I love that stuff, man. I get obsessed with like artists like well, I mean, you know me well. It's like you know me pretty well at this point. I like stuff like I've been getting into like J. Scott Campbell a lot, even though I think he may draw the femur a little bit too long.
Way too long.
But I like him, and and by the way, Willie, I was just joking with that clip, so don't get mad at me. What were some of your favorite comic book characters growing up?
Oh well, as I said, I was a Transformers and G.I. Joe.
Transformers, yeah.
I'm a huge Optimus Prime fan, but actually Megatron, I like Megatron more. But truthfully, my favorite is probably Soundwave. Soundwave for Transformers. And for G.I. Joe, I was a big Snake Eyes fan. I mean, let's face it, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow were,
the coolest.
Yeah, they were the guys that, or them and Quick Kick, amazingly enough.
Hell yeah, I love Quick Kick. And I feel like, the other thing I liked about G.I. Joe was in the comics, like, the cartoon had like kind of like Duke and Scarlet doing this like will they won't they thing.
Yeah.
But like in the comic book, it was her and Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
And they really had a cool relationship. And like also the way they introduced the characters in the comic was just so much better. I don't know, I just liked it, but we don't want to talk about, if you get me talking about G.I. Joe, we'll be here all night. So, you know what I mean? Like now that kind of goes into another question I got is what you got any other hobbies besides comics? I know you do. I know you got several. You can tell us, but I'd also like to know about the charity thing you got where you take kids fishing.
Yeah, well, that's my second biggest hobby is fishing. I love fishing. Me and a buddy started about more than 5 years ago. Geez, it was before COVID, so yeah, almost 10 years, I guess now. we've been doing a nonprofit that takes underprivileged and at-risk kids out fishing. It's called Kids Out Fishing. It's at kidsoutfishing.org. We once a year we work with we take underprivileged kids out throughout the year, but our big event is we work with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and we take 50 bigs and 50 littles, so that's like a pair, and we take them out fishing on one day, usually on the free fishing weekend. And we provide them with the rods, the reels, everything that they need. So both the big and the little can continue to fish once the event's over. So they can have, something that they can do together. So it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. We love teaching kids, seeing the smile on the kids' face when they catch their first fish.
Yeah,
It's awesome, man. It's absolutely awesome.
No problem, Mr. Marsh. And like also a lot of these kids probably don't get the opportunity to go out and do that stuff like that a lot.
Yeah,
and also we get introduce kids to like more outdoor activities because when we were growing up, I don't know, I'm sure it was the same way in Canada. Like we'd go out till the street lights came back on, and we were outside in the summertime. We were outside all day, and also like we were talking about last night. I don't know how you feel about this, but like with the toys, like when we had actual toys, we didn't stare at the screen. I mean, I stare at the screen a lot now, so I can't say shit. But I'm just saying we didn't stare at but until the video games got more and more advanced. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. That's the way I feel about it. I feel like we had to use our imagination a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, our motto for Kids Out Fishing is more tackle boxes, less Xboxes.
There you go.
Right.
Well, it's okay to play Xbox. I know you play Xbox.
Yeah.
I played retro video games, and y'all have been harassing me. You and a couple other friends have been harassing me, saying you have to get an Xbox. Come on, what are you doing? So I might be getting one because I have a place that has a used not a new, but the newer version for.
Yep.
That's I digress. I also see you got a lot of toys. You tell us about some of the stuff it's just stuff from your. I know you got the Doctor Who police box.
Yeah.
And I see Office of Crime there.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. There's way too much stuff. I collect Masterpiece Transformers, which are the fancier ones that sometimes take like half an hour to transform. I love Godzilla. Godzilla is my thing.
You got me into it a lot too, by the way. Another rabbit hole I'm going down.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I haven't toys though yet, but
yeah, don't go down that road. Trust me, that's a whole.
I'm already like dipping my toes in the GI Joe pool, which is bad enough.
And then the Doctor Who stuff, the figures for Doctor Who, plus some of the Marvel Legends and DC DC stuff. It's it takes up the whole main sort of TV room. So
the thing is, it's just the one thing about nostalgia, Glenn. It's really tough on your wallet.
Yes. Oh yes, absolutely. Oh God.
All right. So, do you have any? What are some? I mean, you don't have to show them because I guess I could have told you this before I asked the question earlier, like 2 hours ago. Like, what are some of your prized possession collectibles and comics?
Well, as I said, I've got the original Transformers #1 that was the exact comic that I bought as a kid, and it wasn't a Canadian price variant because the lower Niagara area or southern Ontario ran out of copies or didn't get enough copies, so they actually had to go to Buffalo, New York, and Niagara Falls, New York, and actually bring some over. So mine actually is a United States newsstand edition.
Oh, okay.
That was a kid, but my 2, 3, 4, and that was all CPV. But That one is my prized
For
possession.
the uninitiated, that means Canadian price variant.
Yes, correct. The other one that I will just probably never sell is that ASM 300. I got it graded to a 9.0 just because that's what brought me back in again this time.
That's what you discovered.
20 years.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I discovered. So there's no way I would buy that, or no way I would ever sell that. A couple comics I got of Norm Breyfogle's signature, because even though we were friends, I never ever asked him for a signature, and I never asked anyone for a signature at that time. Which I'm looking back going, you idiot. But a couple things that I got from recently with Norm's signature, I'll never sell, and I'll treasure those. And some of the stuff that people get, that send me. Those are the ones I care most about.
Yeah. Well, like I am too. Like the ones like I work out with somebody, like or somebody gives me something. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. Like like that Wolverine 10 you gave me for Christmas.
Yeah.
I went and got it graded actually. But we used to give you a hard time. We kind of exaggerated that thing about the 300 because we were like, oh yeah, he just had a jump ball, big deal.
Yeah, well, it was funny. It literally was. It was because I had bought it, and it did have the. I'll have to find the picture, but it had the slip in the back of the con I bought it at in Toronto in 2004. So it actually had the slip of paper in the back. So it was kind of cool. Those are the ones that I've got, like Amazing Spider-Man 252 Canadian price variants. Some this one I just got recently that is one of my favorite Spider-Man covers. That's in Mark Jewelers, and it'll be probably a 9698. So that's going to get sent off. There's just I like certain comics, and those are my prized possessions.
What Missy Marson, he loves sending or gifting YouTube peeps usually during claims that he does it all the time. He got he was bidding against me on a third appearance of Elektra, and he won it because I folded, and he said, "Give it to Matt." I'm like, "What?" So I can attest to him doing that. I've seen him do it. Hey Brian, it's good to see you again. Like I said, I was. Sorry, Glenn. I didn't mean I just wanted to
Oh yeah, no. Well, actually, what's his face has still got a Pilsner's got a comic for you that I bought. I'm like, give it to Matt.
I know, or like you had the ones like, I got these for $2. You want them? I'll just give them to you for $2. I'm like, yeah, it was like that J. Scott Campbell Vampirella. And they're speaking of him. Look here.
Yes, there he is. There's Pilsner.
And he appears.
Like talk about a good person who gives Matt good stuff.
This guy
Prop is absolutely awesome. Please, everybody follow him.
Follow him on his name's Pilsner Props on Whatnot. And a great seller. He does this thing where you can do like a pool, I think it's like, I can't remember how much money it is, but I know you pull in the box. He's got some good stuff in there too. And he used to do this thing where you have troll books he'd send people, like it'd be like a meme book or something, something goofy. And but yeah, he was still sending me G.I. Joe and Wolverine. Doesn't have to do that. And also I want to highlight Ian and Becca Comics in the chat, because they have a Whatnot channel. They just started a Whatnot thing. So everybody follow them on there too.
Yeah.
And well, I've had some fun. Like when I sold on Whatnot, we had some fun, didn't we, in the chat? Like when you guys would show up, and not even people didn't even if they weren't buying that, I'd be playing like AC/DC loud as hell. And Cindy and all of them coming there, and John, and it's just, and then we'd cut up in John's too, and like,
yeah,
I've even seen you get on people's nerves, like you're just joking with them too.
Yeah,
and It's, you know what, I love. That's the one thing I liked about Whatnot. But like, I had to get away for a little bit because I was spending way too much money on there. It's just so easy. Like last week, I got Captain America 321 at like 4:00 in the morning because I couldn't sleep. But I'm glad I did it. But still, like, you can get up at like, and I know you can do it with eBay. Everybody said we can do it with eBay too, stupid. Somebody said to me the other day, but I'm like, I know, but you can lay in the bed, grab your phone literally, and be on Whatnot and go, let's see if there's any comic books that I want. Yeah, Crazy Hungarian's here. Hey, that's my partner on Bad Cinema. And I'm gonna let Glenn, we're gonna let the chat become the interviewer now. If there's any questions for Glenn, you can ask the puppet too. Santa, you come and say hello too while you're here. We'll just interview, have you ask questions on the screen with each of you. So
You
you guys
ask questions. The only question I need is, what's your PayPal account so you can pay me off? That's what you need to know.
well, you know what Jack Burton says in Big Trouble in Little China, Santa, the check's in the mail. Just wait a couple weeks to cash it, okay? Okay, Missy Mars wants to know if Santa is a vegan.
No, are you kidding me? No, I love my beef. Beef, good. Make Santa grow. Make Santa go faster.
There you go. And any question for Glenn? If you got any questions about like some of the people he's interviewed or like some of the stuff he collects or anything like that, just shoot a question in the chat, and we'll.
I'm sure Pilsner's probably just he's typing up a good one, right? He's getting back at me for all the times I bust on him.
Asshole. You like DC or Marvel more? That's what
right now Marvel, but DC in the mid 2000s, DC in the 90s, but Marvel I would say now. Why do I never show my face?
He's like the Elephant Man. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, normally because the backdrop for my other machine, I'm changing up everything to put the slabs and everything done. Then yes, you will see me.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. And if you looked at you would understand because it looks like you time traveled to 1974.
Yeah, it's a. Well, I'm not going to change that. That I'm not changing. It's my computer room is the last thing I ever did in the house in changing.
Well, I would keep
and
it.
It's 70s paneling on 3 walls. The one wall is not 70s paneling; it's regular drywall. But there's 3 walls of 7 paneling. And I'm not going to get to it for probably a year or so.
I just
want to change stuff in the background.
There was an old bit from Dennis Leary, the stand-up comedian, one of his stand-up specials from the 90s, where he's like, my dad was always putting up wood paneling because I think when you're Irish, you have to just, it's like a law. You have to put wood paneling in every room.
What indies did I like?
Yeah. Or do, yeah.
Oh.
Did or do.
Well, I was a big Spawn fan when it came out. I was a big Furry Freak Brothers fan early, probably in my college days. Just trying to think. Bone, absolutely love. If you don't read Bone or you haven't read Bone, it's not for kids. It's not like it can be for kids, but it's not for kids. It is very sophisticated. It is awesome. I absolutely love Bone. It is a cool,
successful comic books in history.
Yeah, it's cool. Turtles, the original Mirage Turtles.
Yeah,
love that.
He's made a couple cameos in Spawn too, hasn't he? Or one of the characters has, wasn't there like a cover where he's on it or something?
On Bone?
Yeah. Or,
no, that
was in Spawn once.
No, that was Cerebus.
Okay.
Cerebus was cool. Probably my biggest indie title. It was only 2 issues, but I love it to this day, and I got it when I was a kid. It was Clint the Hamster Triumphant. It was the front cover was a Dark Knight Returns #1 homage, but it was funny. It was absolutely just funny.
I'm sorry, Kevin's going to kill me for saying that Cerebus was Bone. So okay. Well, what other? Here we got a question from Will.
Is there a Flat Santa Uranus?
Flat Uranus Santa?
Wouldn't you like to know? It ain't happening, man. I know you want to know that stuff, but like seriously, privacy, man. Seriously.
How do you feel about NORAD tracking you on Christmas time, Santa?
They got me a few years ago. I was a little drunk. They tagged me, so I can't get out. It's just really a hard place to reach. And with this stupid Canadian's hand up my ass, it's very hard to get it out. So,
Yeah. Here's an interesting question. If you were one of the astronauts coming back from the International Space Station, what would you eat first?
The puppet or me on that one?
Oh, maybe both. I know the puppet would probably eat Jello.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, probably. It wouldn't be Jello. It would be a nice T-bone steak covered in butter. Oh, yeah.
No, that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good.
For me, it would be. I absolutely love my homemade burritos. I can't live without those.
Oh, we got another interesting question from Joe. Did you actually conquer the Martians, or was that just a propaganda film?
Okay. I'm guessing that's Santa.
The puppet, because there was a movie called Santa Defeats the Martians or something, or Conquers the Martians.
No, it wasn't me. It was Scooby-Doo.
Okay, there you go, Scooby-Doo. A big burrito fan. If I was to come back from the ISS, and the first thing I'd eat would be probably a big reverse seared porterhouse with some hash brown mashed potatoes, some green beans, and even though it's another starch, also some Texas toast. And even though it's another starch, they say not to eat 2 starches in one meal. Macaroni and cheese casserole. There's Memo. Memo's in the chat.
Yeah.
Hey, Memo, the 4-time champ, baby.
I hate your Memo. Don't like you, man. I don't like you. Deal with it.
Damn.
I'm sorry, Memo. He's got it in for you. I don't know why.
I don't know, but you better watch out for us comic fans though, because just to quote Mallrats.
Come on, you fuckers think that just because a guy reads comics he can't start some shit?
Yeah, and Ian Baker says you're allowed multiple starches to be stuck in space for 9 months. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, but definitely follow Memo as well on
Whatnot. Yeah, and we're trying to get him. I'm trying to influence him, like I did Glenn here, to start his YouTube channel. I know he's going to soon, so we need to get him on that. You got to get in there, Memo. It's good. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, that was for Missing Mars. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't. I can't let a stream. I can't let a stream go without playing a clip of Brody from Mallrats. So All right. Well, I guess it's going to stay there with the gluten. There we go. It's leaving. Yeah, we got anybody any more questions? I'm surprised we have Ron ask a question. But
Yeah.
okay, we got
Is
one.
meaning-
Is the meaning of life? He just wants to keep asking Santa questions.
It's 72 and a half, man. Like, I don't get it. The 42, my ass.
Mm-hmm. I don't either. Why do they always have a towel with them too?
Well, I mean, you want to be clean at least.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Well, if there are any more questions, we'll wrap it up. But Glenn, why don't you tell me about what's going on the channel? Oh, we have one more question. Boxers or briefs? That's a little personal, but okay.
I could show you.
Hey, tell us about what you got going on the channel.
Well, we're going on the 5th episode coming up next week of Bragging Rights. Memo, the 4-time champion, is coming back. I'm going to spank Santa with my championship belt, which, by the way, the championship belt has been ordered. So, Bragging Rights every Monday at 8:00, where we have 3 contestants on. One is a returning champion, and we show the 3 best books that you got that week, 4 if there's a tie, and the chat gets to pick who it is or who wins. So everybody come on out on Monday nights if you can to help with voting. The more people we have, the more fun it is. I really enjoy it doing that. I've got Guess the Grade coming up. I'm going to be starting to send off 5 books at a time to CGC. We're going to have people come in. I'm going to show the books off. Everyone's going to get to guess the grade. And we're going to see who, when it comes back, what it was. And we're going to slowly do 5 at a time and constantly get the stuff back and see who's the best grader in the Whatnot community. So, try to do that. And of course, my weekly pickups that I do, or at least I try to do every Wednesday, of the stuff that I pick up from that previous week. That's it.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying the pickup videos. You always get some good stuff, and you always manage to find the deals on Whatnot. Like I tell everybody, if you're on Whatnot, you can't find deals. You just got to look for the right sellers. But I have a couple of announcements on that, and there will be no claim sale tomorrow night. I got to go to bed early tomorrow night because I have a doctor's appointment on Thursday in Lexington, Kentucky. It's 2 hours for me, so I got to get up kind of early. And but the Comic Lounge will be on. It'll just be scheduled for 9 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. So I should be back by then. But if I'm not, then I've told Kevin if he wants to start it, he has access. You can start it without me. I'm going to tell him that. And then, we got the Sunday show. And then next Monday, we'll have another episode of Bad Cinema. We rechristened it Bad Cinema. It just sounds easier. And we will be reviewing the movie Chud from the 1980s. Then next Tuesday, the guest will be Psychotronic Squirt Gun, our friend Aaron. So, it should be fine. It's just a routine checkup, so don't worry about me. When you have a cardiologist, you have to go at least once a year. You're not going to have a cardiologist. So this is my yearly visit. So, all right, guys. Well, Glenn, I really appreciate you coming on here, man. You're a good friend.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me on. Yeah, thank you for having me on. As for the chat, everybody except for Memo. Bye-bye.
Okay, well, there you go. So thank you for tuning in. Until next time, true believers, Excelsior.
Come, son of Jarrell! Kneel before Zod! Snoochie boochies.